Will silver protect your buying power? I have an extraordinary example of how it did. Proof that silver will protect your buying power, and that goes for gold as well. We also need to talk about this new, are you a doom spender? Are you a doom spender? Have you heard that term? It's new to me. I'm going to tell you all about doom spending. We're going to talk about also major economic calamities unfolding throughout the entire world. Okay, controversial, but we'll talk about it. We'll uncover what's really going on out there. Is housing doomed? I have a new statistic for you about what's going on in the housing industry. You need a house. I need a house, right? Maybe you're in your basement. I'm in the basement. I own a house, right? Is housing doomed? It's frozen right now. We're going to talk about that as well. And of course, the banking crisis and yet another new idea regarding what's going on in the banking sector. We're going to talk about it all because we want to become zillionaires. Does that make sense? Silver millionaires. I mean, when silver's $1 million an ounce, when silver's infinity an ounce, right? Won't we all be zillionaires? Anyhow, let's take a look at a very easy example to show us why silver will protect your buying power. This was extraordinary. This came from an article that we saw on Seeking Alpha. This is a chart, okay, that shows gasoline, how much gasoline costs. Now, as you can see, okay, when you look at this chart, it says how many gallons of gasoline could you buy with $1? Starts out in the 1940s. That's the purple line that you see there. Okay. All right. And silver was in money all the way up till 1965. So at that point, you could buy yourself about 3 gallons of gasoline with $1. But around 1964, 1965, they took silver out of the money. They took silver out of quarters. We'll just use 4 silver quarters as an example. So like I said, as you can see, 1964, you could buy 3 gallons of gasoline. If you'd kept that dollar, if you'd kept it as paper money, if you'd kept that money as 4 new quarters, and by the way, the new quarters are made out of, the quarters we have today are not made out of silver, right? They took silver out right there. The new quarters are made out of copper and nickel, okay? Now, if you'd kept that dollar all the way through today, you can buy about 1/3 of a gallon of gasoline with $1, with 4 modern quarters that do not have silver in them. If you had kept your silver quarters over those years, look at this. That's the green line. You'd be all the way up here today with those 4 silver quarters, which have about 0.715 ounces of silver in them. You could buy almost 6.5 gallons of gasoline with those same 4 silver quarters. Has silver maintained its buying power versus paper money versus precious metal backed money? I think it's pretty obvious. If you'd kept the silver quarters at this point, again, when they split, when they took silver out of money, you could get almost 18 times as much gasoline today as compared to having kept your money in paper or in non-precious metals. That was from Seeking Alpha. To me, that demonstrates the ability of silver to protect your wealth. Right? Will that continue into the future? Well, guys, that was from like 1965, 1970 through today. Those were 50 years where the United States ruled the world, where the dollar was king, right? When we didn't have 34 trillion in debt, when more than half of the world wasn't aligning themselves against us, right? Not coming together explicitly saying they want to get away from the dollar. That was during the good old days for the dollar. What's going to happen over the next 50 years? Think about it. We got to think about it. We're not doomsayers. You are not a doomsayer. You're a basement dweller. Basement dwellers assess risk. And that's exactly what we're doing when we look at that. If that happened during the good days for the US dollar, where the dollar was king, where the United States basically ruled the world, we won the World War II, we won the Cold War. But now it appears, and we don't like it. It's not, we won't go down that path, but we didn't cause a lot of this where we are right now. We're in a situation now where if we look at the next 50 years, are you going to tell me it's not going to be worse than that? I don't buy it. I think that we are in for some very challenging times. And if that's what happened during the good old days, what's going to happen to the buying power of silver if we run into some very difficult times ahead? I think it could be even more extreme, the extent to which silver and gold can help us protect our assets. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I could be dead wrong. You know that, right? We've got a lot of moving parts. We have CBDCs. We have the great taking, right? Who knows how this all plays out? But we do know one thing for sure. Physical metal has maintained its value for thousands and thousands of years and likely will as we head into the future. Hey, if you want to get your hands on some metal right now, if you're shopping, please do yourself a favor. Check out our channel sponsor, Pimbex. They have gold, they have silver, they have platinum, they have great prices, great customer service, all right, and a great selection, right? So gold, silver, and platinum. They make this live stream possible. They make these videos possible. Pimbex, Pimbex.com. They also did this. Let me show you. I am in love. We're doing a big Valentine's Day giveaway. I'll tell you later how you can enter that. But let me show you just one of the products that's in the Valentine's giveaway. This thing, it's a Geiger 10-ounce bar. We have 13 other ounces that are included in the giveaway. But look, isn't that absolutely beautiful? Even the back is cool. And it's wrapped in this very heavy protective plastic. This is not like saran wrap. Remember saran wrap? I think we have some upstairs. Anyway, this is heavy-duty plastic. It's a Geiger 10-ounce bar. You can get them on the Pimbex website. I get no commission off of it. I'm just telling you, this is my new love. Last year I loved, do you love the South African Krugerrands? I do, okay? But I really love this. Let me read this quickly to describe this to you. It's a square silver bar that combines efficient German design and premium minted surfaces to give you a reasonably priced package that feels like a high-end collectible, and it really does, okay? I'm just telling you, that's what I love. I'm going to tell you about this later, too. Where is it? It's a game we played with the girls yesterday that was so much fun. I'll tell you about that later. So, yeah, the four silver quarters did maintain their value. Junk, right? Junk is junk. That came from one of you guys, one of the viewers, Lou E., sent me that chart. And he said, junk, is it so junky? They call it junk silver, right? If you kept $1 of junk silver in 1965, today it buys you 6.5 gallons of gas. If you didn't keep that junk silver in 1965 and you instead kept a paper dollar, or you converted it to four of the modern quarters, which are made out of copper and nickel, instead of being able to buy 6.5 gallons of gasoline, you can buy about 1/3 of a gallon. And actually, the author of this article on Seeking Alpha said you can buy 1/4 of a gallon. Actually, it would be like you can buy 24 more times more gas today, right, than you could have with the silver, as opposed to keeping your value in paper money. That's why we say these are batteries, right? They store not electricity, not water, not whatever. They store. Silver stores value. It's a value storage device. Get yourself the best value storage device in the history of the world. It's only worked for 1,000 times, right? Or 1,000 years. I feel like a gold silver salesman. I make no commission off any of this. I'm just telling you what I believe. You need to figure out what you believe. That's the most important part. Listen to me, okay? I know what I'm talking about. Of course, I think I do, but you need to decide if I know what I'm talking about. Listen to other people. And then number one, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself and make your own decisions. I do not have a crystal ball, but I do love silver and gold. And I do believe in my heart of hearts that in my lifetime, and I'm 53, almost 54, my birthday's coming up. Anyway, I do believe that you and I together will see triple digit silver, $100 silver, $65 silver, $45 silver. I think there's a possibility that we could see unbelievable numbers for silver and gold for that matter as well. We'll see if I'm right or wrong, right? But I anticipate during my time here on this planet that will be the case. And how can we say that? Why how could that be the case, right? Oh well look at here. Let me page through here and see if I can find any quick examples for you. No, that's not good. Oh, here. Here's a 30-day silver price in Argentina, measured in Argentina pesos. This was just this year. Look what happened, right? The price of silver in Argentina just last year, it is 2024. We've established that. But back in November, it was 8,000 pesos. Overnight, somehow, silver went almost from 8,000 pesos all the way to 20,000 pesos. See that pink line, right? And I've got example after example I can show you. We can look at Turkey. We can look at Venezuela. All these countries, right, that mismanaged their finances, wound up with skyrocketing silver and gold prices. And did we ever really get off the gold standard? I'm tired of, nobody, you probably don't agree with me on this either. And that's okay. You do not have to agree with me. All that I ask is that we're respectful with one another in the comments section. And we want to hear your comments because your thoughts matter on this and all the videos. But I am a firm belief that they can say, oh, no, 1971, President Nixon took us off the gold standard because it was outdated, it didn't work, and he needed to pay to get reelected, and he needed to pay for the Vietnam War. That's the reality, right? Right? Oh, we're not on the gold standards. Ancient history. Let me tell you something. Throughout history, the gold standard had become ancient history many, many times. But there's this habit that the world has of coming back to gold and silver. So I believe, and I know it's not a popular belief, and I know you'll throw egg at me and you maybe don't agree with me, but at least consider that maybe we never really went off the gold standard. They can throw up a lot of smoke and mirrors. I like to call it the M&M, the monetary mirage, right? Oh, the dollar's more valuable. Paper. I mean, think about it. People fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Paper is valuable. Okay, here's some paper. Yeah, a list of words that Susie recommends I use instead of interesting. Intriguing. Enthralling. Isn't it interesting? Right? That they convinced us that paper is valuable. Next, they're going to try to convince us that electronic stuff is valuable. I won't go down that path, okay? What has been valuable are gold and silver. All right, there I go. Let's have a drink of coffee. Let's all say hello to each other, basement dwellers. I appreciate you being here. That's why they called it YouTube, right? Because of you, there is no Ron's Basement. I'm not doing this for myself. We're doing it for each other. So thank you for being a big critical part. Please give this a thumbs up. It looks like that or like this. I don't know, whatever it looks like. One of those two. It's free. All right. And it helps the channel. It helps us get the word out to more and more people. And please subscribe to Ron's Basement. I'll be here every day. All right. I say for the rest of my life, I'm just doing it one day at a time. I'm here every day. So if you want to join and be part of the discussion, part of the kind of deep looking at what's going on in the silver and gold market, it's absolutely free to subscribe. All my content is free. No comments on that, okay? All right, guys, let's all have a drink of coffee, regroup, and we're going to come back and attack some big doom issues. And doom spending. What the heck is doom spending, you might be asking? Well, we've got that answer for you. Doom and gloom. We know what's going on in the United States, which is downright scary economically right now. But did you know that Germany, the world's fourth, let's just do an update on the world economy because we all are all connected, right? Germany, the world's fourth largest economy, pretty much is in a recession, and all the data coming out of Germany is not good. And now I got to ring the bell quickly. We got 100 thumbs up. Thank you guys. 10 rings, bell warning. Even after the bell, they're ringing the bell on the German economy because all the data coming out of Germany, the world's fourth largest economy, is not good. Everything is shrinking. And now they're saying France, which is the European Union's second largest economy, is looking really cruddy as well. France is a huge economy, all right? Okay. UK is looking weak. They're talking about recession in the United Kingdom, right? Not like the United States, where all we hear is the economy's great, everything's great, it's working, all that. No. Over there, they're actually recognizing big issues. China is at a 40-year low in their economy, was a stat that I read. I don't know how they're measuring that, but their exports, China export, that's all they do is export, right? Go to Walmart, go to Target, that whole thing, have dropped for the first time since 2016. But the world economy is strong. It's doing really great. Japan is just a disaster. I mean, Japan has printed more money, more yen, has run deficits, and it's just a complete, I want to use a term that starts with circle, but it's a complete spiral in Japan. And the yen has been like crashing against the dollar, which means their exports should be booming, but they're not, because world economies are starting to freeze up. It is not good. Now, think about this, because we talk about it in the United States, but it's true for the whole world as well. Now we're looking at global. I got a globe, my grandpa's globe. It's like 80 years old. I always think of you when I look at it, because you guys join from all over the world, but we are facing a global slowdown. Global. My grandpa died at like 93. He was kind of a gloom and doomer. He read the Wall Street Journal every day. He was a very smart guy. I was very close with him. He did not, this was back 15 years ago. He was like, it is not looking good what we're doing here in this country, right? And boy, oh boy, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, now we're looking at global interest rate cuts, which, by the way, that's good for the price of silver and gold. But on top of that, interest rate cuts in an environment, right, of weakness. Usually you do where the world is set up, the United States, for I think, I'm just my thoughts, just my opinion based upon deep and thorough analysis, that the world is set up for another big inflation boom. And this time when it happens, it's going to be different than last time, because we're going to be in a position where they aren't going to be able to raise rates. They're going to be like, what do we do now? What do we do now? And everybody's going to go running to silver and gold. That's what I think is very likely to happen. I'll say it one last time. I could be wrong. Don't make any investment decisions based upon what I'm saying. But the table is set, right? The conditions are ripe for, and everybody will look back and say, oh my God, we should have seen it coming. We should have known. Look, all the signs were there. It was a black swan. Nobody saw it coming. Well, yeah, no joke, because you didn't pull your head out of the sand. Average American, average maybe I don't live in Europe, I don't know, but I imagine in Europe it's the same thing, right? You didn't pull your head out of the sand, out of your Well, anyway, you didn't pull your head out of you-know-where until it was too late. There's a song, too late. Like it's too late, okay? Because remember, you and me and all the other people that are in the precious metals community right now, we're sitting on a train in a station. We got nice, comfortable seats, right? The train has not yet left the station. But when it does, right, when the price starts to go up and up and up, people are going to be flooding that station wanting to get on that train. And it's really difficult to get on a train that's moving, right? There's only going to be a few of them who are able to hop on. That's if things play out the way that we think they are, right? I think the beautiful thing about silver and gold is the worst case scenario, right? When you look at the risk, right? We get paid to assess risk. Right? When you look at the worst case scenario, sure, can the price of silver and gold go down from here? Absolutely. But the downside risk, in my opinion, is far, far, far outweighed by the upside potential. That's called an asymmetric risk profile, meaning the amount that you can gain, right, is far greater than the amount that you potentially could lose. Because, I mean, think if silver were to go, let's say back whatever those years where you could buy, can you believe that? You could buy silver, I think it was like the late 90s for like $5 an ounce. Right? So if you were buying it at $5 an ounce and you're looking and you're thinking, well, it could go to 4, but it could go to 24 like it is today. That was an asymmetric risk opportunity. Those people that were smart back then, I guess there were even fewer of them, were looking at $5 silver saying, well, I could lose 20%, but it could go up by 500%, which it did. Okay? And I think that we are still in that asymmetric position right now where the ability to have gains far outweighs what we could lose. Could we get $17 silver? Absolutely. You need to believe that that is within the realm of possibilities. Could we get 15? What did it go down to during C19? I remember like $12 or $13 an ounce. That crazy like 2-day slam down that occurred in everything. But then it all bounced back. So it'll be interesting, when we look at what's going on in the world, Germany, Japan, China, everywhere. We don't even have to look at what's going on in the United States. It's absolutely crazy town that we're living in right now. Let's say thank you to Fortuna Silver Mines. They're on the New York Stock Exchange. They're also traded in Toronto. They're a $1 billion market cap company. Okay. They've got a track record of reliability and success building and mining both silver and gold. They have a very solid balance sheet. It's a company, as I tell you, I owned for years before they sponsored the channel. I'm a big believer personally in Fortuna Silver. You can check them out for yourself at fortunasilver.com. Don't make any investment decisions based on what I'm saying. Like I say all the time with all of this, you do your own analysis, make up your own mind. What about housing? Do you own a house? Are you in a house? Where are you now? Maybe you're in a car. Car market's horrible too, by the way. But the housing market, this is a stat that I hadn't heard. And what does this make you think when you hear this? Okay. We have a frozen real estate market. I don't know where you're at, but where I am in St. Louis, it's also frozen outside, like -3 degrees, absolutely freezing. But the real estate market, talk to a realtor, call up a real estate office. Trust me, they will pick up the phone immediately and be very happy to talk to you because the real estate market is frozen right now. Very little activity. People can't afford to buy houses. People can't afford to move because mortgage rates, even though they've come down a little bit, are still very, very, very high to what people have been accustomed to over the last 15 or 20 years. But listen to this statistic, which will inhibit the residential real estate market from going higher even more. We have 700,000 new apartments that are going to be completed in 2024. Are they trying to move us all into apartments? 700,000. It's the most apartments that have ever been completed in 1 year in like 50 years. An unbelievable new stock of rental apartments are coming on the market. The housing market is in trouble, and that will spell big trouble for the overall economy because housing is a critical part of the overall economy. People are, I'm sorry, you may not like this either, right? But if you, unless you own rental property, if you just own a house that you live in, people get all excited, like, oh, my house went up. My house went up in value. My house went up in value. Who cares? It's actually bad. Wait till you get your homeowner's insurance. Based upon that higher value and inflation, you might want to put on one of those Depends diapers because it is not pretty, okay? What about your property taxes? They go up as well. We've got a wave of people, not a massive wave, but a wave. And again, it's one of the contributing factors that aren't going to be able to afford their house payments, their escrow, because their escrow is going to go up because of higher insurance prices and higher property taxes. I know here, right, at the old basement, I mean, the amount that I pay in property taxes every year has like gone up like 70%, it feels like, maybe more in the last like 5 years, 4 years, 2 years, 1 year. It's the equivalent of when I go to Aldi and try to buy a bag of chips that used to cost $1 that now costs $2.29. Okay, it's not good. The housing market, and so unless you own housing as an investment, your house is not an investment. Okay, and I'm not trying to be what's his name, rich dad, poor dad, Kiyosaki on you here. I'm just telling you, unless you're going to sell your house and move into a tent, the fact that it goes up in value isn't all that important, okay? And it can actually work against you because it makes your expenses go up. A house is a lot of expense, as any one of you who knows that owns a house. Houses are expensive. And what about the average American household? Are you average? I know you're exceptional. Those of you who join us here in the basement are always exceptional. Please don't forget, give this a thumbs up. I'll only beg you one more time. It helps my attitude. It helps us as a community get out to more and more people. So please give it a thumbs up. It's real easy to do. You just have to press a button. Nothing else happens. All right. And it's free to subscribe. Thank you. Are you average? Are you really average? If you're average, more data on the average American household. This one says the average American household owes $10,000 on their credit card. $10,000. $58,957 in student loan debt. And don't forget, that debt can never be discharged. And $242,000 in mortgage debt, right? Against that house that you own that's gone up and up and up and up in value. And $22,612 in auto debt. That's the average American household. Now, where it's getting very, very interesting is doom spending. Are you a doom spender? I'd never heard of this until yesterday. And I dug in. There's a new term, right? We want to be on top of these economic trends called doom spending. Let me read this to you. This is fascinating. This is getting a lot of press. Something we need to be aware of. Bear with me. Technical problems. Okay, here we go. This article is from Zero Hedge, but really, I think it was first covered on CNBC. Debt-saddled consumers embracing even more doom spending. In a disturbing trend, more than 1 out of 4 consumers are throwing in the towel with defeatist, quote-unquote, doom spending sprees. Despite already being saddled with crippling levels of debt, this behavior is akin to someone who, feeling overwhelmed, indulges excessively in a habit they know is not beneficial. In a similar vein, these Americans, perhaps feeling a sense of despair, are accumulating unprecedented levels of debt through spending sprees that are beyond their financial means. Doom spending. Let's just dig in just a little bit more. This says, in fact, the average household owed a staggering, unsustainable $103,358 in debt last year, with Q2 consumer debt totaling almost $17 trillion. The result is a deeper and more terminal state of consumer financial decline than ever. But don't tell that to the National Retail Federation CEO Matthew Shea. He was unsurprisingly delighted to find that a record number of shoppers showed up for Black Friday. So don't do it, guys. If you're feeling despair, if you do have a lot of debt, don't go out and spend more money, okay? Debt is slavery. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but debt is, what is silver? Silver is the currency, the money. The money is probably a better word of gentlemen. Gold is the money of royalty. This has been said for generations throughout the world. Gold is the money of royalty. Silver is the money of gentlemen. That makes a lot of us gentlemen and gentlewomen. Hey, thank you, Jim M. I forgot about Super Chats. Thank you, Jim. Hey, Super Chats go a long way to help support the channel and the family as well. If it wasn't for Pimbex, Fortuna, and Super Chats, I wouldn't be able to be down here because we got to keep food on the table. And with inflation, right? You know how it is. We already talked about that. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the support. Seriously. And thank you, Jim. Okay. Debt. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Uncle Joe won't tell you this, but Ronnie from Ron's Basement will. Okay. Debt is bad. Debt is slavery. Debt means that you are enslaving yourself for future work that you obligate yourself to do for other people. Silver is real. This is value. I can guarantee you that if you have any of these, do you have some of those? Do you? Thank you again for that other super chat for Coin Shop. Chris, the one and only. Thank you, Jim. If you have one of those, one of these, let's see if I can get it to shine. Isn't that pretty? Oh, look at that. It's better back here. That's a gold buffalo. See the buffalo? That buffalo will hold its value. Okay? Debt you will owe until you pay it off. Don't take on debt, right? Here. Don't indulge in doom spending. Trust me. Do something else. Instead of being a doom spender, why don't you be a doom earner? Find something, right? If you have spare time to go blow money at Best Buy or Walmart on stuff you don't need, instead find a way to go out and make some silver for yourself, right? Make some fiat and then take your fiat paper money, hold it in your hands and say, how is this stuff worth anything? And go to Pimbex or go to your local coin shop and convert it into real metal. All right. I think you can buy these. Isn't that shiny? Look at that shine. Oh, look. Oh, that's cool. Hold on a second. On Fortuna's logo, that's a silver coin. And if I hold that right there, there we go. Anyway, go convert your fiat into, so if you have extra fiat, not all your, I'm not giving, look, I'm not saying take everything you own and buy silver or gold or anything else, right? But if you're gonna, don't doom spend. My gosh, listen to this. Listen to this. Where was it? Here. Doom spending. I mean, come on, man. What are these people doing? No wonder. These are the people that are asleep. These are the people that are going to be racing to get on the gold and silver train. When we're sitting in the Ron's Basement, we got the luxury car right behind the locomotive, right? They're going to be banging on the windows. Let us in, let us in. And maybe we'll let a few in, but we aren't going to be able to let that many people in. There's not many more seats. Don't forget to take a break and drink some coffee. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready for more intriguing data regarding the horrific state of the country that you live in? Because I've got it for you. And then I'm going to talk about this briefly. This. See that cow behind me? It's very interesting. Or very thought-provoking. Mortgage, let's talk about how debt has changed in just 1 year in this country, okay? Mortgage debt is up 5%. Home equity line of credit up almost 9%, okay, year on year from 2022 to 2023. Student loan debt actually went down, probably because Uncle Joe wrote some off, but that's a different story. Auto loan debt was up 6% to $1.5 trillion. Credit card debt last year went up a whopping 16%, okay, to over $1 trillion. And this is where it's really crazy. Unsecured personal loans were up 20% from 150 billion to 190 billion, okay? All right, it's not good. CoinShop Chris just threw a virtual ding dong at me. Hold on a minute here. I missed a super chat. Hold on. Super chats are important. Oh, shoot. Now I'm screwing up. I'm sorry, guys. Did you hate that? Okay, hold on. All right. When all else fails, I'll smile. Oh, boy, I missed a super chat. Bear with me. Hopefully it'll come through here. I don't always get to see them, so thank you guys for the super chats. That's a big deal, and you know that I appreciate it. This debt situation is out of control. I was watching more about the great taking today. I mean, is that what is it like this financial engineering that's going on when it comes, not to us, not to you and me, because if you hold some silver, if you own some gold, now the mining stocks, that's where I'm heavily invested. I'm a little scared about this whole situation where, supposedly my stocks are collateral for derivatives and everything else. But this great taking situation where they're talking about the system being kind of manipulated to a point where there's going to be a potential for taking of all of our assets, right? That they can take our bank accounts, they can take our brokerage accounts, they can take our collateral. If you have a mortgage on your house, they can take. I mean, if you have a car that you have a debt on or have had a debt on. So look, I'm not an expert in that. You can watch it for yourself. It's called The Great Taking. It is very, very interesting. And David Webb is the author of the book, and he's a legit guy, like a previous hedge fund manager, very smart, sophisticated guy. Okay, sorry, my daughter's texting me while I'm trying to do a live stream, asking me if I got her new game on her virtual reality machine. No, I did not, Evelyn. Now, I will tell you this very quickly. This is not a game show, but I want to show you this. See that cow right there? This is a lot of fun. If I find something that I like that's a lot of fun, I'm going to tell you guys about it. This is called Herd Mentality. It's a game. And look, I don't know if you've done this, if you guys have kids, grandkids, whatever, but we tend to buy a lot of games around Christmas, and then they sit on the shelf. And this one was sitting there, and I kept seeing it, and I was like, I'm going to make sure we play it. I'm going to make sure we do it. This game is very simple, and it is fun, okay? I watched a 2-minute YouTube video about how to play this Herd Mentality. It's a family game. We played it with our daughters. It's really easy. It's about people trying to get the same answers to these questions as everybody else. Trust me, it's not a complicated game to play, and it's so much fun. As a matter of fact, we were riding home from my daughter's basketball game last night, which they lost again, but that's okay because it was a great game. We had great coaches, all that great stuff. Anyway, we were in the car driving home, and my one daughter out of the blue said, I had a lot of fun playing that game. And you know how it is? It's like things in life that you should do and that are fun, like playing games as a family or with your friends or whoever. It's always a lot of fun, right? But then you're like, I don't want to do it. I'd rather watch YouTube videos or bleh. And I was like, no, we're going to do it. And we did it. And it was a lot of fun. Sometimes you gotta, I heard a guy say this once, swallow the frog, right? That thing that you are thinking about that you kind of put off or whatever. And I'm telling you, I was like, I'm not going to let that game sit there. And it was a lot of fun. Again, Herd Mentality. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. You can check it out for yourself. But it's a fun game. It's easy. I mean, 10, 11, 12-year-old up, I would say, can play it and have a lot of fun. What about the banking crisis? Are we going to be zillionaires? Is that a silly term? It came into my mind earlier, and I thought, are we going to be zillionaires, silver millionaires? What will $1 million be worth if you do become a zillionaire, right? Maybe silver goes to $700 an ounce. Maybe it goes to $7,000 an ounce. Who knows, right? I mean, I know that Peter, what's his name? The guy, anyway, some of these guys say, like, really? If you look at past fiat money systems, the value of silver measured in dollars could go to infinity, right? So are we going to be zillionaires? I thought that was a good one. Zillionaires. I never heard anybody else say it. Nonetheless, maybe we will. Become zillionaires. What about the bank crisis? Let's think about this. Because we know coming up in 2024, there's a lot of potential major stress on the banking system. Is it a setup for the rollout of a CBDC? Is there going to be a crisis, right? Another crisis, and we have the CBDC for you. Is it a setup for what this guy David Webb is talking about, the great taking? Sorry, guys, we need collateral to settle all these derivatives that blew up. Remember, Warren Buffett, all right? Warren Buffett called the derivatives, and those are just, like they imply, derivatives are these financial instruments that you and I know nothing about. All the big fancy banks, their little agreements, their contracts they have amongst themselves. A derivative, like the name implies, it derives its value from something else. It's not really based on anything real. It's a derivative, but they have these bets amongst themselves. And apparently they add up to quadrillions of dollars. Oh, and by the way, if you have a house that you have a mortgage on, if you have a brokerage account, if you have a bank account, if you read the fine print, according to this guy David Webb, all that stuff is actually collateral to back up these derivatives. So is that what's in? I don't know, right? That's scary stuff, to say the least. But what we do know about the banks are that we have commercial real estate deals that are blowing up right now. Okay, we have properties that are selling for 50 cents, 60 cents, 30 cents, I heard somebody say, 70 cents, whatever, on the dollar. I know here in St. Louis, I read a couple articles recently where there were big office buildings downtown that sold for, 16 million. They sold for 8 million. And back like 4 years ago, they had been sold for like 12 or 13 million. The world is ripe with examples of this. We have a big commercial real estate, and all these deals are coming due month by month by month by month by month as we head into the next 12 to 18 months. I heard this said, I want to get your input on this, that 2024 is a live experiment, like a live drill for the banking sector, because we've got all this CRE, commercial real estate stuff coming due. At the same time, we've got the Fed talking about how they may stop the bank term funding program, the BTFP, right, which has been saving a lot of the small regional banks here over the last 12 months. That could be on March 11th. It could get very, very interesting. We've got also a wave of corporate refinances, not commercial real estate, but corporations that owe 100 million, 50 million, 5 million, 500 million. Those loans are going to be coming due month by month by month by month. And the problem is these corporations, just like the commercial real estate, borrowed the money 3 years ago in a zero interest rate environment, and now the rates are much higher. It is going to cause massive stress on the banks and potentially massive stress on the companies as well, because they're going to go from paying, we were paying $5 million a year in interest, and now suddenly our interest expense, it's like what's going on with the U.S. government. Same thing everywhere. We went from paying $5 million a year to paying $8, $9, $10 million a year. That's the reality of what's going on. So it's going to be an interesting situation as it plays out. Hey guys, can we get to 200 thumbs up today? We got 300 people here. We're almost there. I will ring the cowbell when we get to 200 thumbs up. But let's just let's be aware of what is going on. I think one thing that we really, really need to remember, right? Just look at history. To me, is it mind-blowing to look back? Let's just say since the year I was born in 1970, from 1970 through today, right? What is that? 50 years, 55 years. If we look at how silver held its value, if we compare that against gasoline, like we did at the very beginning, right? If you'd taken $1 in 1966, a $1 right, in paper, right, you could buy 3 gallons of gas. All right, same thing with silver, 4 silver quarters. Fast forward to today, that silver now buys almost 24 times as much gasoline as that paper dollar. You can't get but 1/3 of a gallon of gasoline with a paper dollar. And that, again, we can't emphasize this enough. This is the big deal that's going on right now in our lives, in our world. That situation that unfolded, that shows the extraordinary ability of precious metals to maintain their value, right? That happened during the best of times. We're heading into the next 50 years, which I just don't think are going to be as accommodative to the U.S. dollar as what we saw during that period. Right? It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Wow, thank you. Super chat. Whoa, Sooner Bear. Love the channel and community. Oh, man, that's right. Thank you, Sooner Bear. It's really nice of you. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, it's important for us to remember as well, guys, we're a community. You're a part of a community here in Ron's Basement. When you join, when you're here, right, there's no fee, no nothing, but we come together and we want to be helpful and supportive, and you guys always, always are. The other awesome thing is we're getting more and more and more women joining the silver stacking community. That's great for women, and that's great for men as well. It's more people. And women, generally speaking, I don't want to speak in generalities, but women are always very interested in protecting their families and protecting their wealth. And so, we know, sorry, I can't go a whole live stream without saying it, that Costco sold $100 million of gold in their most recently ended 3-month quarter. That means in 3 months, Costco sold $100 million worth of gold. And now they're selling silver eagles as well. I'm trying to get some data. Every time I ask, I don't have a Costco membership. Maybe we could get a Costco bear down here. But anyway, I asked my neighbors, they've come and they search and they're like, I don't know, they what comes up? This is pretty scary. When they search for silver on the Costco website is a silver colored casket that you can buy for like $699. So hopefully Costco will get that worked out, because as far as I know, they at least were selling American silver eagles on the Costco website. So we'll keep a close eye on what's going on there. Where'd it go? There it is. Oh, 300 people, 200 thumbs up. Let's ring the cowbell. This is a cowbell warning. And one more for Jake. Hey, I almost forgot. Guys, let's all say thank you to the moderators today. They are doing a great job as we work our way through this live stream. 8 is great, and our moderator team is great. I know the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. We know the 5 countries that have joined the BRICS. Iran, right? Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, Egypt, and the United Arab Emirates. It's getting very interesting. I just want you to think about this one point as we talk about those countries. We're basically, the West is at war with Russia. That's part of the BRICS. The West is basically, does it feel like we're kind of at war to a certain degree with Iran as well? Oh, they are also part of the BRICS. And we know, absolutely, we know that those countries are buying more and more and more gold. It just blows me away. I'm telling you, doesn't it just feel like that in 2 years, maybe in 2 months, maybe it never happens? Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but it just feels like we're going to look back at some point and be like, why didn't we see that? And we won't necessarily, but there's going to be masses of people who wake up, right? And I think they're going to wake up. I'll tell you when they're going to wake up. They're going to wake up when they go to the grocery store and they go to buy 1 gallon of milk and they look at the price and they're like $14.59. Oh my God, what is going on? They're going to go home to their spouse and say, you're not going to believe this. Milk costs $14.59. What's going on? And they're going to start reading and they're going to realize and they're going to find our old videos like, wow, those people knew. Those people knew that this situation was coming. Those people, yes, I'm talking to you. I can guarantee you a couple things about you. You're a nice person. You're an honest person. Okay. You're an ethical person. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that one more time. But the other thing that you can do, which I don't think a lot of our fellow Americans can do anymore, is you know how to work a calculator. And when you put in 34 trillion and you multiply that times 4% interest, you get an answer and you scratch your head and you say, boy, that 34 trillion, which a year from now will probably be 36 trillion, that's the national debt of the United States of America. We aren't even hardly bringing in enough money to pay the interest on all that debt. But somehow it's all going to be okay. Just listen to our fearless leaders in Washington who will tell us that the economy is great. The other big thing about silver and gold and when it's used to back the monetary system is, typically speaking, those are more peaceful periods of time, because it's not as easy to print money to go off on endless wars. Gold and silver backing the monetary system ushers in two things, typically: periods of peace and periods of real prosperity, real ability for average people. And you're probably like me. I'm an average guy, right? Just an average guy that sits in his basement with teddy bears and talks about silver and gold. Pretty normal. Well, we're normal, right? You've got your own quirks. I have my quirks, but we're pretty normal people. Silver and gold backing the real money is good for the average people. Don't forget, debt is bad, okay? Debt is bad, right? Silver is money. Gold is money. Silver and gold are money, okay? I want to say thank you for joining us here today, all right? We know a lot of different things, and we don't know a lot of different things, but we do know one thing. Mathematics shows no forgiveness on the altar of truth. On behalf of myself, thank you to the moderator team. On behalf of Susie, who runs this whole show, thank you for your support of the channel. And I'm going to look forward to seeing you, yes, you, next time. Don't forget, there's somebody, at least one person, and probably many, many people that love you. You're always welcome here in the basement. Have a great day.